Hi, welcome to TFR Let's Talk, and this is your host Adam Parco. My next guest is Adam Parco, VP of Engineering at Mirantis. Adam, it's great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Love being here.
Give us a quick, brief summary of Mirantis Container Cloud. What is it all about?
It's your cloud anywhere, right? That's what we're trying to do. So it's delivered as a service. It's fully managed, which includes itself, right? So it will provision bare metal machines, installs operating systems, deploys itself, keeps itself up to date, patches its own OS, and provides a consistent API to developers, regardless of the infrastructure or the platform you're on. It allows people to create clusters on demand, self-service.
So can you also talk about, as the adoption of Kubernetes is growing, what role is services like managed services like what you're offering is playing so that users can quickly move to the cloud without having to worry about all the plumbing that is needed to be done?
Yeah, that's probably perfectly accurate, right? I like to say that all our customers, they want to focus on their customers' value. Managing infrastructure, configuring infrastructure, securing infrastructure, monitoring infrastructure, all that is just table stakes to build a business and provide customer value. So it's our goal and mission to reduce that down to as minimal as possible, so that our customers can focus on their customer value and be a better, deliver better value to their customers.
Right. I think of developers as artists. They should focus on their painting, not, what kind of brush to use, what kind of oil to use. So we, in the developer world, we waste too much time on the unnecessary thing that doesn't add any value to that. So these kind of platforms are helping them a lot. Now, from your perspective, especially with this pandemic, where a lot of companies have accelerated their digital transformation in the cloud journey, if they have not changed, what kind of trends do you see in the space? Because today, almost everybody has to be on the cloud if their business have to succeed. So talk about what we have seen in the last 1 year or so.
I think there's an interesting trend that's happening. I'd say within the last couple of years, it's platform engineering. So this is taking kind of what you said and mixing kind of a little bit of DevOps and taking it one step further, so that developers now, rather than even say DevOps, I guess, rather than even just managing their infrastructure, now there's a push to also manage a platform. So a system of tools and frameworks and pipelines, and secured and tested and certified images and secured locations that developers can quickly build applications with best practices and company certified base images, so that they can create applications quicker, that they're secure, that they're standardized within the company, so the same databases are used, the same interfaces are used, and then they have the tooling, consistent tooling, to be able to manage and monitor and view and secure that infrastructure. And it just accelerates the entire process, which I think is one step past DevOps, who used to do a lot of that work themselves. Now, the future is kind of more of a platform engineering, where that gets all configured for you.
I think the roles are, boundaries are blurring. Of course, most of these things are kind of buzzwords, I think. So whether you talk about developers to DevOps, then DevSecOps and SREs. So you have already alluded to that, but how do you see that not only the role of a developer is changing, the responsibilities, that's where the buck stops now. How do you see that evolve, especially when you're also looking at things like, everything is infrastructure as code, and then you're looking at GitOps, and then you're looking at SREs. I'm dropping a lot of buzzwords there, but that is what is happening there.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, and I think it also depends on the size of the company, right? Small companies might have different team layout. Large companies have a much different team layout. What we have been seeing in analysts, briefings and reports, is that DevOps is shrinking, but I don't think that role is actually disappearing or even shrinking. It's just kind of being moved around, right? So you mentioned a couple of them being, platform engineers or SREs, or even developers. So, for example, in the past, to be able to create infrastructure, you had to file an IT ticket. You'd have to have like an admin, configure it and provide it for you. Now, for example, with Container Cloud, it's self-service. It's API driven. It's by the cluster API. Anyone, anywhere can simply create a cluster on any infrastructure that they have access to, and self-service, right? So that's kind of a little bit where the DevOps is going. I'm not saying going away, but so the DevOps or the developers are picking that up a bit. And the platform engineering team are kind of managing, monitoring, and providing that. So you can kind of see that DevOps is kind of branching off into more discrete roles. And then of course there's also, like you mentioned, the SRE that picks up the last mile and owns the reliability and the security and all, everything else.
So, irrespective of what badge you're wearing, whether you're SRE or developer, DevOps, how does this container cloud help? Once again, no matter who you are, not only in keeping up, because speed is important, you have to move faster, you have to also keep things stable and secure.
Yeah. So Mirantis Container Cloud is a single pane of glass, and it facilitates pretty much all those features that you just mentioned. So logging, monitoring, alerting is something every cluster is going to need. We bake that in. It gets deployed with every single cluster created. It consolidates all information and presents it to basically anyone for you at any time, right? If you were to, let's say, like roll your own, or use a bunch of disparate systems like different cloud providers, different on-prem infrastructure, how do you, say, at scale, monitor all those things and configure all those things, and at all times know what's going on, who has access to what, if it's not brought all together into a single system?
Not everything is bed of roses. There are still some challenges, some problems that and that also means, how do you see the evolution of container cloud? We can also talk about some of the new use cases. Even we can talk about edge, because Mirantis has a history of the whole open stack world as well. And today edge computing is where we are not talking about IoT devices, we are talking about edge data centers. So talk about what role do you see Mirantis Container Cloud can play there? Plus, what are still some challenges that you think that the Mirantis Container Cloud has to tackle?
Yeah. So I'm glad you defined edge separate of IoT. Sometimes they get grouped together, and edge can mean a million things. We've, like you mentioned, we've had an OpenStack history, and we've had a lot of great customers and success with telcos. One of the interesting things we've done with Container Cloud is we've containerized OpenStack. So our next generation OpenStack now runs on Kubernetes. We call that Mirantis OpenStack. It's a really interesting product, and we've seen a lot of telcos be interested in that, and that's primarily like edge computing needs. So we have customers that deploy Container Cloud, that they'll deploy Mirantis OpenStack, creates take their beefy servers, creates virtual machines, and then you can even deploy Kubernetes on top and further segment and deploy applications on that. So we offer a full end-to-end stack solution for pure telco edge use cases.
Adam, thank you so much for taking time out today, and I look forward to talk to you again. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.